This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the May 8th Lander County Commissioners Meeting. Online, we have Commissioner Mike Chop, and also online, we have Alicia Price. So we do have quorum today. Okay. All times on this agenda are approximate. Consideration of items may require more or less time than is scheduled. Items on the agenda may be taken out of order. The public body may combine two or more agenda items for consideration, and the public body may remove an item from the agenda or delay discussion relating to an item on the agenda at any time. Public comment is designated for discussion only. The public has the opportunity to address the commission on any matter not appearing on the agenda. However, no action may be taken on any matter raised until the matter itself has been specifically included on the agenda as an item upon which action may be taken. Additionally, public comment may be taken or may be heard on any item listed on the agenda. Persons are invited to submit comments in writing and or attend and make comments on any agenda item at the Lander County Commission Board meeting. All public comment may be limited to 3 minutes per person at the discretion of the commission. Please note that the public body may interrupt the open meeting and exclude the public for the purpose of having an attorney-client discussion of potential and existing litigation pursuant to NRS 241.053B2. Okay, I officially call the meeting to order. Okay, what do you have the Pledge of Allegiance today?
Yep. I pledge allegiance to the flag,
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll have a moment of silence. Okay, Lander County Commissioners may break for lunch from 12 p.m. to 1:15 p.m. Any agenda item may be taken out of order, may be combined for consideration by the public body, and items may be pulled or removed from the agenda at any time. Okay, Commissioners' reports on meeting, conferences, and seminars attended. Lamont?
All right, good morning. I attended the Public Lands Board meeting, PLUAC, and BLM gave their updates. They're expecting a possible big fire season, so they're doing some new hiring to try to get ahead of that, try to get some more people out in the field. They gave their mining updates, which the commission's mostly received most of that already. And they're working on next month in June trying to get a presentation for the commissioners up here. So especially regarding the wild horse and burros. Also, RCI is the company who's doing our policy for federally administered lands. The update on that is they got 4 sections they're working on right now. And they'll probably have a rough draft review sometime in about a month, and they'll come to the commissioners and give an update of how they're doing there, but it's coming along. That's going to be a big win. Also, they're just starting, RCI is also starting the Community Wildlife Protection Plan. That's in the beginning steps, not quite as far as long as our other policy. Some good news on NDOW came and gave an update. I guess sage grouse, mule deer, and antelope counts are up, especially in Area 15, so that's good news. Also, NDOW did a little bit of work on our duck pond here, doing a little bit of cleanup. Also, a quick update from the LEPC group. We're still waiting on our meeting got canceled for our CERC and our United We Stand grants. So I'm still waiting on updates for those so I could report back to see if we got those grants or not. I volunteered some time at the community garden, and that's coming along really good. And also volunteered over at the mobile harvest.
Mike, do you have any updates?
No updates.
Okay, Alicia, do you have any updates?
No updates.
Okay. I attended the NACO meeting, and our presentation this month was about the Nevada Division of Insurance, including state and national trends. It doesn't look good. The insurance company can drop the houses at any time they feel like it. If you have an insurance on your house already, you better hang on to it because nobody else is going to write you because we're too close to California and they're just doing everything they can to drop it. So, and then the National NACO Conference is going to be held this year in Las Vegas. The Christmas tree, I just gave Sean this morning the panel because they're doing a panel that goes around the tree, and they're doing all 17 counties, and I gave Sean ours for Lander County, and he has big plans. And the updates on bills are still going on. Some of them have actually gone through. We're not going to cover all that. If anybody's interested, I can send that update. And the meeting in June will be held in Elko for NACO. So, and then I attended the Lander County School Board meeting in Austin. They do one a year, and the whole subject was about our school, and we're still up in the air about it. So it's just an ongoing thing, but they had a thing posted on our Lander County page, so just give you an update on it, and hopefully we get good news and we can post that on there also. So, all right. Bert, do you have anything?
You bet. Good morning, Commission. So we did get our bike trail bids back yesterday, and they came in. We got excellent bid, 1.7. That'll be in front of you guys for approval later, but I just wanted to give you guys that. We were expecting them to come in around 3. So they came in significantly lower, and hopefully we can do some more with that. So the Austin house there, the Forest Service house, that we did get that deeded over to the county. So the county does have possession of that, and it's in our name. So that's another discussion for a later time, what we want to do with that. The BLM has asked for additional time again on the other land. We're going to kind of push them a little bit so we can try to start making some progress on the smaller asks that we have, and not give as much time moving forward on them, because it's, we're starting to stretch into quite a few years on this. Right. The crickets are starting up, so if anybody sees them, if they can let us know, it will help us get ahead of them and kind of throw some bait down where they're way out of the communities before they come marching through. I think that at times you're better to not bait close. It might hold them more so than it lets them pass through. So if we can get them when they're out in the brush, that'd be better for us. We're going to be testing for both black fly and mosquito larvae in the river, and if the flows allow and the numbers are there, we will treat that again. So you guys can probably look forward to hearing on that. Then I wanted to thank Pam and Endow as well. They're out planting trees, or not trees, but brush and different in Gilbert Creek and at Argena. That will be it'll be kind of exciting to see what kind of mule deer and sage grouse habitat that creates. Then the Austin Airport, we got the cameras up. An electrician came out, looked at the pole, dug down to put a post behind that power box to stabilize it up, but ran into some difficulties there when he tried to bolt that in. So he's coming up with a different plan to secure that, and that's what we have right now. Everything else is on the agenda, will be on a future agenda.
And what did we do with the bids on? Have we got any bids, or or is that coming up on the 7th for the center there in Austin?
Yeah, that's an upcoming bid opening.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. Public comment for non-agendized items only. Any public comment? Okay. Hearing none, we will move on. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and may be acted upon by the Board of County Commissioners with one action without extensive discussion. Any member of the board or any citizen may request an item to be taken from the consent agenda, discussed and acted upon separately during this meeting. Consent agenda items materials are available from the Lander County Clerk's Office for viewing, and copies are available for a nominal charge. 1, approval of May 8th, 2025 agenda notice. Approval of March 26th budget workshop meeting minutes. 3, approval of March 27th, 2025 meeting minutes. Approval of April 10th meeting minutes. Approval of April 24th, 2025 meeting minutes, and approval of payroll changes. So the only one we actually have to approve is the agenda? No, yeah. So do I have a motion? That's the only one we have to approve, right? It's just the agenda because there's no minutes? Okay, so do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion that we approve, number 1, approval of May 8th, 2025 agenda notice.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? No. Okay, commissioners, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove payment of bills May 8th payment of bills, May 8th ratified bills, and March 25th credit card statement. And I need to pull check number 211093 from that. So do I have a motion to approve the others?
Make a motion that we approve 1.1, the payment of bills, but not check number 211093.
I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so then we need a motion to approve check number 211093.
I motion to approve check 211093.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain as it's made out to me. All right. Public hearing, 9 a.m. for review and consideration and possible action to approve, disapprove zone change application number 25-001 filed by Double K Land Company LLC to change the zoning on APN 011-020-22 and a portion of APN 011-020-21 from A2 5-acre ag to R1 single-family residential to allow for high-density residential development. The subject properties are located on the north and south of Yellow Brick Road, approximately 1,000 feet west of Round Mountain Road, Battle Mountain, Nevada. This was approved at the April 16th Planning Commission meeting with no additional conditions.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you. Shelby Knott, Planning Coordinator for the record. So you might remember back in August of 2024, you saw a previous zone change on these properties as well. Now they're coming back and asking for R1 on the remainder as well as the kind of long parcel in the south. Planning Commission approved with no issues.
With no issues, and there wasn't a lot of people there speaking against it?
Nope, no one attended the meeting besides the applicant.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No questions.
Do you guys have any questions?
No.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion
Oh, wait.
to,
Sorry, I forgot public
Yeah.
comment. Excuse me. Any public comment? Nope. Okay, now I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to pass 1.2 for zone change application number 25-0011 filed by Double K Land Company LLC to change the zoning on APN 011-020-22 and a portion of APN 011-020-21 from A2 5-acre agricultural to R1 single-family residential to allow for high-density residential development.
Do I have a second?
The subject
Second.
sorry, go ahead.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. 1.3, public hearing, review and consideration and possible action to approve, disapprove zone change application number 25-0012 filed by Emerald Land Company LLC to change the zoning on APN 011-020-18 from A2 5-acre agricultural to R1 single-family residential and A1 1-acre agricultural and change parcel number 011-020-32 from A1 1-acre agricultural to allow for a higher density residential development. The subject properties are located north of Yellow Brick Road, approximately 1,000 feet east of 26th Street, Battle Mountain, Nevada. This was approved at the April 16th Planning Commission with no additional conditions. Do we have any comments from anybody? No?
No.
Okay, any public comment? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve 1.3, application number 25-0012 filed by Emerald Land Company LLC to change the zoning on APN 011-020-18 from A2 5-acre agricultural to R1 single-family residential and A1 1-acre agriculture and to change APN 011-020-32 from A1 1 acre agricultural, and a 2 5-acre agricultural to R1, single family residential and A1.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, moving on. 1.4, public hearing for review and consideration and possible action to approve, disapprove zone change application number 250017 filed by Lander County to change the zoning of APN 002-330-21 from C1 commercial to GP governmental purpose to allow for the development of a new Lander County Fire Station EMS building. The subject property is located on the northwest side of State Route 305, approximately 200 feet southwest of the intersection of Carson Road and State Route 305, 45 State Route 305, Battle Mountain, Nevada. This was approved on the April 16th Planning Commission meeting with no additional conditions.
Good morning, Commissioners. Aaron Martinez, Lander County Engineer for the record. So this project, as typical, when we rezone for government purpose on properties of this nature, if you look at the zoning of government purpose, it specifically states the usage of fire stations and things like that. So we're just checking all of those boxes. And so there was a special use permit that was issued for this project, and the zone change was a part of that application as well. And we're asking for your approval for that zone change.
Awesome. Any questions?
No, Dee, but I just gonna disclose that my commercial property lines this, but I'm still gonna vote and discuss.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, is there any public comment? Okay, I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the zone change application under 1.4, number 25-0017 filed by Lander County to change the zoning on APN 002-330-21 from commercial C1 to GP governmental purpose to allow for the development of the new Lander County EMS building.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Do I have to read the justifications and findings on the next item after we read the agenda item?
You can refer to them. They're Mike McDonald, Deputy DA for the record. There are findings that were provided. Any motion relating to the proposed ordinance could refer to the findings and say we adopt those findings.
Okay.
In addition, I'd like to
Hold on, let me open the
Okay.
agenda item. I just wondered if I had to read it with it, and I was going to, so then we can go into it. Okay, 1.5, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the proposed ordinance number 2025-03, an ordinance replacing Lander County Code Title 12, Chapter 12.08 by repeal and amend to clarify prohibition against obstructing streets, provide for the removal of abandoned or disabled vehicles, provide for punishment for violation and other matters properly relating thereto. Okay, now.
Again, Mike McDonald, Deputy DA. It has come to our attention that the backup on the agenda, the proposed ordinance, there's another draft with some additional changes that we would ask that the board consider, and specifically the changes from what was attached to the agenda on subsection 12.08.030 on page 2 of the proposed agenda. That first sentence, end of the first sentence where it indicated in excess of 3 days, we have changed that from 3 days to reflect 72 hours. We use 72 hours in another location, so we're trying to be consistent. So 3 days were changed to 72 hours. The other change is in section 12.08.050. And to the backup, or the version in the backup, in the second sentence where it talks about or states whether or not an offender is arrested, I'd ask that we add a comma after the arrested, cited or prosecuted for such a violation upon 72 hours notice placed on the windshield under the driver's side wiper or other conspicuous place where said notice may be reasonably secured. Any suspected abandoned vehicle, right there we'd like to add additional language that says or other vehicle or trailer parked in violation of this ordinance, and then in parentheses LCC chapter 12.08 close parentheses, and then the rest of that section is the same. We handed out an amended copy or version of what I just disclosed on the record to the board members on the that are present here today, as well as provided a copy to the representatives from the clerk's office.
It's 12.80, new also. I don't remember seeing that on there before. It's a really good clause, but where they like, try to comply by moving at 100 feet.
Yeah, so that was included in the draft, and the support that was added is an addition to the ordinance that we asked that it be included.
Okay.
And Sheriff Quick and or myself are available for any questions that the board may have concerning the ordinance or the amendments that I disclosed just moments ago.
Any comments?
Robert Quick for the Sheriff's Office. The Chief Deputy District Attorney is correct. To my recollection, these changes that he just read in were changes that the commission authorized during the last meeting, and they were not put in.
Okay. All right. So question, because these changes are put on and we're amending it again, does this mean we have to go through it another meeting now, or can we finalize it today?
Purpose of today's hearing is a public hearing to discuss any of the ordinance as presented, or any possible amendments that may be brought to your attention and may be included in any motion. So today's hearing and any action could finalize the ordinance today if you so choose.
Okay. All right. Do you have any comment?
No, I don't have any comment, and as far as anything to add for amending, I don't have anything.
Do you guys have anything to add, change, or comment on?
Nope, I liked it.
Okay, so any public comment? Yes. Yeah, please come up and identify yourself.
Vada Pearson for Dirt Towing and Recovery. Good morning. My questions don't have to do necessarily with the ordinance itself or amending it. I did notice that it includes Lander County, and as one of the only 2 towing companies in Lander County that service here, we have not ever been approached about possibly servicing the calls that will be the removal of these units. And so if a decision is to be made on it today, I just have a few questions on that. So are you guys answering questions?
Absolutely.
Okay. If we were chosen to do some of these calls, who would be calling us? Would it be Lander County? Or would it be, I mean, I understand law enforcement's under Lander County, but who, is there something set aside to pay for the cost of the removal of these units? Question 1, and then question 2 is, has forethought been put into where the units would go? Because it seems like it would be kind of extensive, if there was even 50 cars over the town cleaned up, or units, trailers, where would those go to be stored until parties are responsible for them? Because we don't have the capacity to hold that many in our yard, nor do they move as quickly, because when they are junk, they sit, and 1,000 times no responsible parties come forward, take care of them, and it costs us time and money to be able to dispose of them, essentially. So from the moment we start a truck to the disposition of any unit, we're out money. And it's not really about money, but it's about where would we put these cars? Does the county have a yard set up for that? And if this is including, I saw on the amendment that Battle Mountain scratched out, it's inclusive of Lander, all of Lander County. That would be Austin and all the surrounding areas.
Austin, Kingston, Gilman.
Yeah, that's a lot. That could potentially be a handful of cars per week. And I don't know if Nick's got the capacity to hold that many as well. And he also has the ability to make money on them after collected, because he can sell parts, he can crush for scrap. We make absolutely nothing off junk cars. And so I was just wondering if any consideration had been put into the thought after the cleanup. The cleanup sounds like a great idea. Get them off the streets, get them somewhere, but where does that put them? And if somebody could answer those for me, that'd be great.
Really good questions.
Yeah, so my,
Hold on.
oh, go ahead.
Robert Quick for the Sheriff's Office. So initially, months ago, when we started this process for the amending of this ordinance, I actually spoke to the owner of Dirk Towing to find out what he was looking at if we did go forward with this ordinance. So we had preliminary conversations. We did not, get anything in detail because it was preliminary and we didn't want to jump the gun depending on what the ordinance was going to say. So additionally, we didn't, as the Sheriff's Office, didn't have conversations with the county as well until the ordinance is passed, until we could then set up a process and a procedure for payment or where the vehicles are going to go, that type of thing.
Yeah, so the process, if this does get passed, and I know what you've done in the past is if an abandoned vehicle or disabled vehicle on the side of the road, we've been putting those orange tags, right? And so at what point did we, in the past, would the Sheriff's Office call say Atlas Towing? Was that who would make that call? Is that we have this vehicle in this location and it's going to be due in 72 hours?
Robert Quick for the Sheriff's Office. So Commissioner, that's correct. It was very few and far between because of the potential issues with the ordinance. We did have an orange sticker at the time, and if the owner did not move it, then we would call the tow rotation of the company, and then they would process it as normal. I certainly understand Dirk Towing's apprehension and concerns if we have a large number of vehicles, and that's why if the ordinance is passed, that we would then enter into a process of determining those questions before we start doing this.
Okay, and if this does get passed, is there a record of if someone's vehicle has been towed on 3rd Street and they're out of town for 2 months and they come back and this abandoned vehicle is gone, how do they find out where their vehicle got towed to? That's one thing that, I realize we only have a few towing yards, but have we been keeping records of the cars that are getting towed, where they're getting towed from, and that way people can know where their vehicle is gone and they can make the determination if they want to get it out of towing or not.
Robert Quick for the Sheriff's Office. So in our records management system that's managed by our dispatch center, we have an abandoned vehicle module in that, and that will be what we'll utilize to not only show who towed the vehicle, when it was towed, but actually when we stickered the vehicle and the time for that, as well as any additional notes for that.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So do we have like a 90-day hold on them before like the other tow company can start selling parts off of them, or What's the deal on that?
Are you asking me?
Anybody?
I could tell you what our process is. Whenever we receive an abandoned vehicle into our yard, we have 21 days to notify the registered owner. So we go through our database, we run the VIN, we try to locate a good address for the owner. We send them certified mail, letting them know that there's a bill against their vehicle, where it can be redeemed, and the cost. 9 times out of 10, they do not come and get it. So we're out that money, publishing and everything that it costs in order to get a lien title on it, and then we can dispose of it. So we have a process that we have to go through. So if it did come to our yard, the registered owner would be notified within 21 days.
And then you hold it for X amount of time after that, or after that 21 days?
At the time that we send the certified letter, it begins the lien process, which can be 12 weeks plus. And then we're only allowed to charge a maximum of 90 days storage. But at that point, we're already trying to get this car out of our yard. So we're doing the entire lien process from the time we send the letter so that we can get it gone. And so we don't hold them any longer than we possibly have to.
And you don't sell car parts or
We do not
crush
sell
them?
car parts. We don't. Occasionally, once we gain ownership, if a car is good whole, we will sell it, but that is almost never the case. We can at best get scrap for it by taking it also out to Nick's or out of town. But it doesn't generate us any money, any profit.
Yeah, so I remember Under Sheriff Cook, we had I remember we kind of had a talk about this where we don't want to send all the business to one towing yard. And I realize also Durek is a towing yard, but they don't have the capacity to store hundreds of vehicles. Whereas Atlas Towing sells for parts, sells for scrap. But is it where we would at least be able, if this does pass, to be able to at least give Durek the opportunity, if you say, hey, we have this vehicle, are you interested? And if you decide to pass, then you decide to pass and it goes. What we don't want to do is just give one company, right, all the business and not give Durek the opportunity as well.
We're familiar with being on a rotation where you call every other one. We're also willing to tow it out to Nick so that he could, do the paperwork and dispose of it.
If you're already towing, happen to be down in the Austin area towing something and there's an opportunity to grab a vehicle or two, then maybe that's an option.
Do you have a flatbed that you can do that? If you're towing a motorhome, you can't pick up another vehicle.
We have
and
3
take it.
flatbeds and we do have 2 heavies as well as a semi. So we're able to accommodate pretty much anything.
I can't think of a lot of vehicles in Austin, but I can think of 2.
Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay, Alicia, Mike, do you guys have any questions?
No,
No, but if I'm correct, we only have one licensed tow yard in Battle Mountain. I don't know has Nick Nevada might be able to answer that. Has he become got a CPN for that again or no?
I'm actually unsure if he has his certificate, but I believe he is still able to go collect vehicles from private property.
Perfect.
Abandoned vehicles from private property. So if you own 5 acres out at Hilltop and you have a bunch of cars to clean up, I believe he has the ability to do that. But for higher type towing, like with us having a CPCN, I don't believe he does, but I'm not entirely sure.
Thank you.
Okay. So
He would be the one who could dispose of those a lot easier than Durek. He has the space and the ability to profit off that.
Robert Quick for the Sheriff's Office. Currently on our tow roster, Durek Towing is the only tow company we have.
Okay. And how long has Nick, is this Atlas, been expired?
I would have no idea. It's been probably years. It's a matter of carrying the proper certificate to tow.
But they still get called out.
They do.
That's a conversation we probably need to have with Atlas Towing and
that's not our department.
Right.
Sorry.
I think we can find something that works best for everybody, and if there is an opportunity for Durek to tow a few that would be beneficial to that company, then we absolutely can. If this does go forward.
Okay.
Okay, we'll keep in contact. Thank you. Thank you. Any other public comment? Mike, Alicia, I feel like you're talking to God
Nope.
here.
I'm good.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve 1.5, the proposed ordinance number 2025-03, an ordinance replacing Lander County Code, Title 12, Chapter 12.08, by repeal and amendment to clarify the prohibition against obstructing streets, provide for removal of abandoned or disabled vehicles, provide punishment for violation and other matters relating thereto. Also to reflect and adopt the findings as presented on 12.08.030 to reflect the 72 hours instead of 3 days, and also 12.08.050 to include the verbiage as discussed.
I'll second.
Okay, Robert?
Commissioner Chair, I'd request, unless there's a legal reason not to have this effective May 1st, to give us time to work out some of those details regarding towing.
Can we do that?
The effective date, there's a process, a publication process, and it'll become effective after the publication process has been completed. So it'll have to be out in the future, a couple weeks, roughly, depending on when the notice of the passage is published.
Okay, so if that's the case, then we could still go for May 1st to make it effective, and the publication should all be done by then.
Well,
No?
we're past May 1st,
Oh.
so
We
I'm
do
just.
July 1st?
You mean June 1st? June 1st? Yeah,
To be effective June 1st,
okay.
2025.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Okay, moving on. Okay, so we're going to move to 1.20. 1.20 for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the renewal of the agreement between Lander County and Lander Lawn Care Grounds Maintenance in the amount of $18,125 per month, with 2 monthly semi-payments made of $9,062.50 for the amount not to exceed $145,000 per year. This contract is a 3-year term from March 1st, 2025 through October 31st, 2028. Any comment?
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Yes.
Hi, did you just go past 1.6?
Yes, we temporarily moved to 120.
Oh, sorry,
1.20.
okay. Okay,
But
so
we
I
will
didn't
go
miss
back-
anything.
Yeah, no, we will go back
Okay.
to that after it was asked that we move this out of order.
Lovely, no problem, no problem.
Okay. Do we have anybody here for the contract?
We do have Miss Marilyn here. She's in the audience.
Apologies, I was elsewhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
there are no changes to this contract. I'm probably the reason Miss Marilyn didn't stand up. I told her that probably
Sorry,
she probably doesn't have much to say today. But there are no changes to the contract. She does a great service for us. It's considerably cheaper than hiring on full-time staff. She's there every weekend at all the parties, doing all the trash, doing everything throughout the county. So it's a pretty big deal to have her on.
You like mow the lawns and do all that stuff too, or just everything?
Yes.
And how many years have you been doing it?
23.
Holy cow. Wow.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'd much rather be out there.
Okay, any other questions?
Nope, I just want to say she does do a great job at the cemetery, all the parks, and she's always there if you need her. If you have a problem when you have an event, she's always happy to help and get you extra bags or whatever. So we appreciate her.
Thank
Nice. Mike, do you have any comments?
Nope.
Okay, Lamont?
No, just to say thank you too, because I've seen you out while I was doing cleanup and got to interact with you a little bit on Front Street, and I just like to say you're doing a great job.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Okay, any public comment? No? All right, I will entertain a motion.
I will make a motion for 1.20 to approve the renewal of the agreement between Lander County and Lander Lawn Care Grounds Maintenance in an amount of $18,125 per month. 2 semi-monthly payments of $9,062.50 for an amount not to exceed $145,000 per year. And for this contract to be a 3-year term from March 1st, 2025 through October 31st, 2028.
Second?
I'll second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so be it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for helping us all these years.
Thank you.
Okay, back to 1.6. For review and consideration and possible action to approve, disapprove parcel map number 250008 filed by DSJS Properties LLC to combine APN number 002-330-16, a 0.46 acre parcel, and APN 002-330-17, a 7.72 acre parcel into one 1.159 acre parcel in a C1 commercial district. This property is located on the west corner of the intersection of State Route 305 and Lemaire Road, 100 Lemaire Road, Battle Mountain, Nevada 89820. This was approved at the April 16th Planning Commission with the following conditions. Parcel map to be recorded with the County Recorder's Office within 1 year of approval of the Lander County Board of Commissioners.
Yes, that's correct.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just representing the client, DG Smith or Enterprises, and there's going to be a Taco Bell put there.
Oh, nice. A Taco Bell.
Well, there's right through.
That's exciting. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Mike, Alicia, do you have any questions?
Nope, sorry.
You were like amazed and couldn't say anything?
Now I knew it was coming.
Oh, okay. All right, Lamont?
No questions.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve item 1.6, parcel map, number 25-008, filed by DSJS Properties LLC to combine APN 002-330-16, 0.46 acre parcel, and APN 002-330-17, a 0.72 acre parcel into one 1.159 acre parcel in C1 Commercial District. The subject property is located at the west corner intersection of State Route 305 and Lemaire Road. And the parcel map to be recorded within the Lander County's Recorder's Office within 1 year of approval.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Mike?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, 1.7, for review, consideration, and possible action to approve, disapprove parcel map number 25 to divide APN 002-320-21, a 1.54 acre parcel into three 22,371 square foot parcels in an R3 single-family residential, 1/2 acre district. The subject property is located on the north side of Mount Lewis Drive, approximately 930 feet east of the intersection of Mount Lewis Drive and Sheep Creek Road, Battle Mountain, Nevada 89820. This was approved on the April 16th Planning Commission meeting with the following conditions. Number 1, parcel map to be recorded with the Lander County Recorder's Office within 1 year of approval by the Lander County Board of Commissioners. Nobody, it looks like you get to be the one, Shelby.
Shelby Knott for the record. It's pretty straightforward, just like you said. This parcel map's going to be creating 3 residential lots. The Planning Commission approved with just the one condition.
Anybody have any questions?
Nope.
Not?
Nope.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve 1.7 parcel map number 25-0009 filed by Gospel Land LLC to divide APN 002-320-21, a 1.5 acre parcel into three 22,371 square foot parcels into R3 single family residential 1/2 acre district. Subject property is located on the north side of Mount Lewis Drive, approximately 930 feet east of the intersection of Mount Lewis Drive and Sheep Creek Road, with the following conditions: that the parcel maps to be recorded with the Lander County Recorder's Office within 1 year of approval.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so moved. Okay, so now we're on to 1.9. For review and consideration and possible action to approve, disapprove parcel map number 25-0013.
1.8.
Oh, I missed 8, I'm sorry. All right. 1.8. I already had a check mark by it. For review and consideration and possible action to approve, disapprove parcel map number 25-0010 filed by Gospel Land Company LLC to divide APN 002-320-22, a 2.89 acre parcel into three 22,371 square feet parcels and a 1.35 acre parcel, remainder parcel into R3 single family residential, 1/2 acre district. The subject property is located on the north side of Mount Lewis Drive, approximately a quarter mile east of the intersection of Mount Lewis Drive and Sheep Creek Road, Battle Mountain, Nevada 89820. This was approved on the April 16th Planning Commission meeting with the following conditions. 1, parcel map to be recorded with the Lander County Recorder's Office within 1 year of approval by the Lander County Board of Commissioners.
Shelby Knopfman for the record. So this parcel map is just east of the last one you just approved, creating 3 more residential parcels with the remainder parcel. They're still deciding if they want to divide the remainder or keep it as a whole, but the Planning Commission did approve with just the one condition.
Any questions?
Nope.
Lamont?
Nope, no questions.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve 1.8 as read and presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, all opposed? All right. 1.9, now we're back. Okay, for review, consideration, and possible action to approve, disapprove parcel map number 25-0013 filed by Muddy's 268 LLC to divide APN 002-111-08, a 0.826 acre parcel into 0.11 acre parcel and 1.66 acre parcel in a C1 commercial district. The subject property is located on the east corner of the intersection of Broad Street and 7th Street, 670 South Broad Street, Battle Mountain, Nevada. This was approved at the April 16th Planning Commission meeting with the following conditions. The parcel map to be recorded with the Lander County Recorder's Office within 1 year of approval by the Lander County Board of Commissioners.
I believe we have LK on the line for this. Maybe?
Are you there?
As soon as I figure out how to unmute my mic. Yeah, this is a fairly straightforward little subdivision. I mean, basically cleaving off a 5,400 square foot parcel off of a larger parcel and leaving 30,600. So it doesn't change the use of the parcel or anything like that. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward.
Can we ask if he has plans for it, since the other guy volunteered? Can we legally ask that?
I mean, they may or may not answer your question, but there's nothing preventing asking the question.
Do you have something good planned for it?
I have nothing planned for it. I'm not the owner. I'm just a surveyor.
Okay, all right, so we'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve 1.9 parcel map number 25-0013 filed by Muddy's 268 LLC to divide APN 002-111-08, a 0.826 acre parcel into 1 0.11 acre parcel and 1.66 acre parcel into C1 Commercial District. Subject property is located at the east corner of the intersection of Broad Street and 7th Street. And with the following conditions, that the parcel map be recorded with the Lander County's Recorder's Office within 1 year of approval.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just so the commission's aware, I believe that's background noise from Commissioner Chop's phone, and if we mute him, we can't get him back on, so he'll have to mute himself.
Okay.
I'm mute. Am I on now?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, moving on. 1.10 for review and consideration and possible action to approve, disapprove parcel map number 250014 filed by Faded Sage Properties LLC to divide APN 010-280-77, a 9.09 acre parcel into 3.03 acre parcels in an A1 agricultural district. The subject of the property is located on the north side of Yellow Brick Road, approximately 210 feet west of the intersection of Yellow Brick Road and 28th Street, Battle Mountain, Nevada 89820. This was approved at the April 16th Planning Commission meeting with the following conditions. Parcel map to be recorded with Lander County Recorder's Office within 1 year of approval by the Lander County Commission.
Jay Wennell for the record, Faded Sage Property. Have any questions or concerns?
So you're keeping it agricultural?
Yeah, everything stays the same. It's on a Yellow Brick Road. All the improvements are there.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
No.
Okay, Lamar?
None, no
No?
questions.
Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve 1.10, parcel map number 25-0014 filed by Faded Sage Properties LLC to divide APN 010-280-77, a 9.09 acre parcel into 3.03 acre parcels into an A1 agriculture district. With the following conditions, that the parcel map be recorded within 1 year of approval.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, wait, I
Did
didn't
you
do
get a second?
Do we need a second?
Second.
Okay, and then
Second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. 1.11 for review, consideration, and possible action to approve, disapprove parcel map number 25-0015 filed by Faded Sage Properties LLC to divide APN 010-280-33, a 23.17 acre parcel into 2.55 acre parcels and a 15.09 acre remainder parcel in the A1 1 acre agricultural district with the dedication of a 14,536 square feet for Faded Sage Drive and 30,276 square feet for 28th Street. The subject property is located in the southwest corner of the intersection of Yellow Brick Road and 28th Street, Battle Mountain, Nevada 89820. This was approved at the April 16th Planning Commission with the following conditions. Parcel map to be recorded by the Lander County Recorder's Office within 1 year of approval by the Lander County Board of Commission, and to accept the areas of dedication for the Faded Sage Drive and 28th Street.
Jay Wennell for the record,
Okay,
Faded Sage Property. Do you have any questions on this one?
so you're putting the right of way in for roads?
What?
You're putting the right of way in for roads? Is
Roads
that-
already exist right away, so they're just dedicating.
Okay, all right. And this is all out in Hilltop?
No,
Oh, it's over here. Okay,
over there.
remember, I'm
Just
not,
off Allen Road.
okay. I'm still getting familiar with all the Battle Mountain properties. So, all right, do you guys have any questions?
No.
No.
What?
So on your 2.55 acre parcels, are those gonna also be agricultural? Those gonna go residential?
We'll have a resident on them, but you'll stay agriculture, the current zoning.
Okay,
That'd be free, you can have horses or whatever you want on them.
okay, that's all I had.
Okay, any questions from the public? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to pass 1.11 as presented and read.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. 1.12, for review and consideration and possible action to approve, disapprove parcel map number 25-0016 filed by Faded Sage Development LLC to divide APN 010-280-58, a 24.68 acre parcel into a 11.92 acre parcel and a 12.77 acre parcel as an A1 agricultural district with a dedication of 52,023 square feet for 28th Street. The property is located on the west side of 28th Street, approximately 876 feet south of the intersection of Allen Road and 28th Street, Battle Mountain, Nevada 89820. This was approved at the April 16th Planning Commission with the following conditions. Parcel map be recorded with the Lander County Recorder's Office within 1 year of approval by the Lander County Board of Commissioners, and to accept the areas of dedication for 28th Street.
Jay Wennell for the record, Faded Sage Development. Have any questions on this one?
This is all right out there in the same area, right?
Same area.
Okay, and that's over there on the other side of the freeway? I know.
No, it's this side of the freeway.
Is it over there by the water tank?
It's south of the Indian Colony, west of the Indian Colony water tank,
Okay,
about a half mile, 3/4 mile.
okay, all right. Any other questions? Lamont?
No questions.
No questions? Alicia?
Nope.
Oh, okay, all right. So I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to pass 1.12 as read and presented.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Oh, forgot to ask for public comment again. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mike?
Aye.
Okay. All right, any opposed? Okay, moving on. 113, for review and consideration and the possible action to approve, disapprove the division of land into large parcels number 25-0020 filed by Feral Cats LLC to divide APN 010-260-16 into a 640 acre parcel into a 16 40-acre parcels located in section 23, township 32 north, range 44 east. This was approved at the April 16th Planning Commission with the following conditions. Divisions of land into large parcels be recorded with the Lander County Recorder's Office within 1 year of approval by the Lander County Board of Commission.
Good morning, Commissioner. Stephanie McCoy on the phone in case you guys have any questions. I believe LK is also on the phone on this one.
Okay. And this is where? Over by the golf course?
Opposite side of the freeway, opposite side of 305, so north side of 305.
Okay. Are you, okay. Alicia, do you have any questions?
I'm just going to disclose that this does border some of my properties, but I have no financial gain from it, so I will be entertaining discussion and voting.
Okay. Mike, do you have any questions?
Nope.
No questions.
Okay, public have any questions or comments? All right, we'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve 1.13, the division of land into large parcels, number 25-0020 filed by Feral Cats LLC to divide APN 010-260-16, a 640 acre parcel into 16 40-acre parcels located in section 23, township 32 north, range 44 east, with the conditions that the division of land be recorded with the Lander County Recorder's Office within 1 year of approval.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. Moving on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, 1.14, discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the pay scale for the Austin Justice Court as presented or with modifications to approve, disapprove the memorandum of understanding between Lander County and the Justice of the Peace in Lander County.
Good morning, Judge Gandolfo for the record. We had kind of touched on this at the budget workshop back in March. At the time, I hadn't seen, HR was working on a pay scale proposal. I hadn't seen it until April 9th. I was prepared last week or last month. We didn't talk about it then. The memorandum is pretty straightforward. It was a really good pay scale. I think it's beneficial to the court. I think it helps streamline efficiencies in the county payroll by putting us all on a fair and efficient thing and ensuring uniform pay scale across all county employees. The agreement just says I'm agreeing to adopt that pay scale. I'm agreeing to implement it in a fair and efficient manner. And it just points out some of the implied things in there that I'll maintain the ability to give out the pay raises, to perform the assessments, to just enter into their general employee file. But that is pretty straightforward in terms of that. I just want to adopt the proposed pay scale. I made one alteration. I took out the section about the requirements to be a what was I took out of there? What's your job, Jenny? Court administrator. I don't have a court administrator. It didn't apply to me, so I took it out of the pay scale. With that, I'd entertain any questions about it.
Okay, so you're going to be doing the raises and handing out all of that. It won't be.
I just have the assessment. So like the 3% cost of living is going to be applied evenly. But if I feel like they're not entitled to the other 3%, if they have any reprimands, anything like that, I would be the one that indicates whether that pay raise happens or not, because the administration of court employees is very explicitly put out. It has to be me. And
that is in sync with all the other departments. We do the same thing.
Okay. All right. And so how much of increase are we looking at?
I have it here. I think I didn't write down what she's making now, but she's going to be basically, I think, a $2 raise. She'll just be going in on the entry level. My current clerk has only been there, it's coming up on a year. It'll be a year this summer. So she's not getting, I'm not putting her up. I'm not putting her up for anything other than moving into the pay scale as presented.
These are the same numbers as the pay scale that we previously approved for the other county employees. These are the same.
And she's not there yet?
No, because previous to this, I had adopted my own pay scale, which at the time was pretty close to what the county had, but in the interim, the county had adopted a pay scale that was at a higher level. This would be the beneficial to the court employees part that in my memorandum is that the county started paying more, and one, it's good for county or for the court employees, and it's easier for them not to keep track of two pay scales. This is why she is not at what everyone else is at currently, is that I didn't update it when the county updated.
But then July 1, then she gets a cost of living raise on top of that.
Yes, she would be going.
July 1, she will go to level 1, which is 22.
Okay, and she's making what now?
I think it's 2090 at the current level.
Okay, so if we give her a $2 raise, then that cost of living goes up even that extra.
No, she goes to the
Would be
2290. That's
okay.
her cost.
The way it's written is like she's almost like a new hire at that point. That's just what she'll come in at. So she'll just receive the new level.
Okay.
It'll be the next.
All right, because I was wondering how that was going to work if we were going to give them the raise now and then
No,
2 months from now we give them another raise. It's like,
No, so it won't be effective until the next fiscal year. This is for the next fiscal year, not for the next pay periods.
okay.
This is stuff we would have done at the budget workshop, but we weren't ready. Just things that happened.
Okay.
So it's for 25-26 fiscal year.
Okay. How do you guys feel? Any comments?
I have a question for Judge Gandolfo. So I think this is fair because again, we're trying to do everything straight across the board so that everybody's on the same pay scale and it makes it easier for HR and payroll and that. And I appreciate that he is adopting this. And I just want, and then you'll just move them up per level as they get educated or more experience?
Yes, so it would still be up to my discretion, and I'm still in the process of updating job descriptions and things along those lines, and I'm not ready to present those here today, but yeah, she would be able to move up from clerk 1 to clerk 2, clerk 3. The pay scale, it should be in your backups.
It is.
Yeah.
So that would be the adopted pay scale. And then even in the pay scale, it's adopting the language of once per year. I could move them up if they met certain criteria. It's not every 6 months or 3 months if I decided to. It's not like that. It's every year they're eligible for those things. And every year they're eligible for that 3%. I don't know if it was phrased as longevity or merit raise on top of the cost of living, but that is discretionary as to me if I felt their performance warranted it.
And the commissioners don't get to approve any of that?
You approve the payroll change request forms.
Okay, but that's just the cost of living, but if you decide to give them another
No,
one?
their anniversaries are done by a payroll change request form.
Okay, all right. All right, Mike, do you have anything?
Nope.
Lamont?
Oh, pretty straightforward, no questions.
Okay. All right, I'll call for a motion.
Make a motion that we approve 1.14, the pay scale for the Austin Justice Court as presented, or with modifications to approve a memorandum of understanding between Lander County and the Justice of the Peace of the Austin Township.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Oh, wait, public comment. None? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay,
Come on.
all right. Discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the personnel budget for the Austin Justice Court for, no, wait, I'm on the wrong one. 1.15, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove, increase for the compensation of the Austin Justice of the Peace.
Judge Godolphin, for the record again, this is a fairly straightforward request. I was listening to the previous commissioner meeting when Judge Roberts had to put in for a pay increase. From my understanding, what I took away from the meeting at the end, that pay increase was approved on the basis of the commission's stated goal of keeping elected officials on an even pay scale across the county. I'm simply applying as an elected official in Lander County to be put on that same level, namely the $89,307. That was approved for Judge Roberts. This would apply for fiscal year 25-26, so it's not immediately, it's for the upcoming year. Because I realize that it's such a big ask, even though I'm not applying for it on a meritorious basis, I have included in your packet a little bona fide sheet of myself, highlights being I've been the sitting judge. In 10 days, I'll be the sitting judge in Lander County for 7 years. Puts me in the upper half of all of Northern Nevada. I have 268.78 hours of continuing education. I've listed all the class and certificates I've had in there. I'm active in judicial leadership. I attend all of our regional meetings. I'm in a strategic planning focus group for the state-sponsored strategic planning for future goals of the courts. I work with Judge De La Garza out of Las Vegas, Judge Johnson out of Goldfield, and the new judge, she just got on out of Henderson, and I'm terrible with names, so it's going to take me a while to get her, but we've been working towards that. I've worked really hard over the past 7 years to modernize and make sure that despite the location and remoteness of the Austin Justice Court, that everyone has a perfect access to justice. I've been a Zoom court since 2020. I was the second one, I believe, in the state to do that. I stole that from the first, which was Judge Tyrus in Incline Village. I've had a website since 2021. I've allowed access that way. We're using state-funded grants right now to update a jury room to be in compliance with. You have to have the ability to have a 12-person jury in order to hear domestic violence jury cases if they're so required. And at the same time, I'm using it as an access to justice ability by having the ability to take your court-ordered DUI school, anger management, any of those sorts of things. You can be able to use the room to do that. I'm also on the short list to adopt the state's e-filing system, which they'll be putting a kiosk in there and using our printers and scanners and things of that nature. And then just a general conference room to improve the access to justice in the facilities that the residents of Austin can use when older or more indigent defendants or participants in the justice system can use technology that they would not otherwise have access to. And that's all coming from state money. That's not county money doing that one. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to go through them and hear any concerns that the commission has.
2 years ago, we gave you a 15% raise to get you up to where the rest of the judges are.
That's an incorrect statement. The 15% raise was due to every year Judge Fortune at the time was getting a 3% cost of living. Being new to government, not realizing how that really worked and having a really hard time asking for increases in anything, I had not been doing that. And it was kind of brought to my attention. I came to the commission, said, I hadn't gotten any raises over that 5-year period. And it was discussed to give me the 15% to cover all the 5-year period. That was not to bring me up to other judges. As
Right,
far as I
okay.
know, I believe I am currently the lowest salaried position in any of the justice courts in the state when I had checked with the others. It did not bring me anywhere close to parity with everyone else. It was just to catch up on the misses of costs of living. And then I've only been putting in for 3%. And the only reason I'm asking for this today is the comments that were made, and I have the timestamps starting at 1 hour and 50 minutes in the previous commission meeting about the commission's desire to keep all of the positions at parity across there. And that's the only reason I've come today to make this request.
Judge Gandolfo, and then I must have had it, but what is your current salary?
It's
47?
40.
I didn't hear that. What was it?
$46,154.64.
So
46,154. Sorry, Lamont.
yeah, 46, 154 and 64 cents.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Judge Gandolfo, how much of an increase are you talking? Because are you talking to be in line with Judge Roberts?
That is what Judge Roberts, who, when the commission said that, was to be in line with the other elected officials of Lander County. And rough off my head, it's about 100%, which is, again, I come to you with full acknowledgement of that crazy of a number, but you gotta start somewhere.
As I say, that's a $45,000 a year increase. That's huge.
Do not deny that.
That's.
So
we have a lot of people in here who's had a lot more experience about this than I have. Has this ever happened to where we had a judge down at Austin make the same as one up here?
No.
In Battle Mountain?
Never.
Can I say something for the record? This is Spencer Roberts for Argenta Justice. I will say Mr. Gandolfo here has been a total asset for me as a new judge coming in. I'm able to reach out to him at any given time and he can give me answers on how to do the job, this, that, and the other thing. He's always available for me, which helps alleviate costs for a senior judge, which costs lots of money. I'm able to reach out to him and he can take over for me. Being as a deputy in the past, there's some cases I have to recuse myself from being on there, on the case or, witnessing things or what have you. He's had no issue stepping up and taking these cases. And he is an elected official, just as in the same capacity as me. It is a dangerous job being a judge, subject to death threats and everything else. It doesn't matter where he's from. He is doing the same exact job as me. Handles probably more traffic than I do because of NHP and stuff being down in that area. And I think he deserves the same pay as me as well. Thank you.
Just 2 points for what Mr. Roberts had said there. The previous, when Judge Fortune was in, she had used the senior judge vouchers, and that was a $36,000, $550 that they had paid to the senior judge. It was the end of 2023, most of 2024, and continuing now. I have taken on a lot of that coverage where they've severely reduced the reliance on senior judging. So if you focus that little group in there, that's roughly $7,000 a year if you take out the previous year that I've handled most of the coverage for
And you
Argenta
get
Justice
paid
Court.
extra for that, right?
I do not.
No?
So I cannot be paid extra by Lander County for covering for another judge within the county. And I just want to be clear, the number that I threw out at you is not, again, based on meritorious things, is that I am only put that number out there because that was the number in the statements made in the previous commission meeting. And that's what I'm putting that in for. I'm not trying to be meritorious. I'm not trying to say workload. And then the second thing is whether you're a clerk in Austin or you're clerk in Battle Mountain, it makes the same whether you're a commissioner in Austin, you're a commissioner in Battle Mountain, it makes the same whether you work for the road department or in Austin or Battle Mountain. My position is the only one that has a differential pay scale compared to one end of the county or the other.
Denise Fortune, for the record, the previous justice of the peace. Austin has always been, they call it a part-time court. For the record, Judge Gandolfo is just as busy. And as the previous judge, I had a senior judge for the first few years of my term, which was costing this county a lot of money because of what he was being paid. As Judge Gandolfo became the justice of the peace in Austin, he was willing to cover my last 2 years at least in office. I didn't have to call a senior judge so much. Judge Gandolfo covered for me at no cost to the county, which saved the county a lot of money in senior judge fees. But more than that, Judge Gandolfo, which I've witnessed for the last however many years, works as hard, if not harder, than most full-time judges. You guys may look at him as a part-time judge. He is in no way, shape, or form a part-time judge. He stays up on the NRS's statutes, and he covers this court here in Battle Mountain and doesn't get paid for that. So I think when it comes to he's a part-time judge to a full-time judge, the difference between Judge Gandolfo and Judge Roberts, there's really not much difference, except he has a little more experience of being a judge. So I think you guys should take that into consideration. He's saving you guys money in other ways if you have to call in a senior judge, because Judge Roberts was an officer. There's a lot of things he's going to have to conflict off of. I had to conflict off of some things, and it's nowhere near. When we can't do the job, we have to bring in a senior judge, and they're expensive. So if Judge Gandolfo's willing to do that, and he did for me my last 2 or 3 years, that does save the taxpayer money in that way. And I feel he should be compensated for that. So thank you.
I'll be really brief. Sorry, Jenny Martin, Argenta Justice Court Administrator. Just so that you guys are aware, since Judge Roberts has taken the bench, we have not utilized a senior judge once. We've utilized Judge Gandolfo. So we have not paid a senior judge. And I believe the last year that Judge Fortune was in office, we didn't utilize a senior judge, maybe once. So that's a big cost saving to the county. I am not sure where the designation as part-time judge came in anywhere. I believe he's on call 24/7, 365 days a year, just like any other judge. So I know that maybe their caseload isn't as high, but he's still on call just like every other judge.
Any other public comment?
I got a couple questions.
Hold on just a
So
sec. Rob's
if-
gonna comment,
okay.
and then we will go to
All right.
us.
Thank you, Dee.
Robert Quick for the Sheriff's Office. We'd be in support of a comparative salary for Judge Gandolfo. We've worked with him for many years. He does the same job the Argenta Justice Court judge does. And we called on him all hours of the day and night, weekends and holidays, and he responds. So we'd be in support.
All right, Alicia.
So I'm aware his caseload is a lot lower, but I appreciate that he has a lot of education. My only question is if we did give him, just for fun, the full wage, there is no guarantee that he would come and do those cases for Argenta Justice. I'm not saying he wouldn't, because he's been awesome doing that, but there's no guarantees. So my question would be is just really how much will we be paying a senior judge on top of him if he couldn't, and how often could he do it? Up until this point, he's been, according to testimony by previous Judge Fortune and by Jenny Martin and the current judge in Argenta Justice, that he has been very helpful in that. I'm just curious, like if we went and said, okay, we're going to give him straight across the line this same wage, which I appreciate him also saying he's just throwing that out there. I think he does work hard. I just am curious about how many of those cases would go to a senior judge, just out of curiosity.
Commissioner Price, this is Jenny Martin again. Are you asking how much we would pay a senior judge if we needed to call one in?
No, what I'm asking is, there's no guarantee, correct, if we give him the same pay as Judge Roberts, that we are guaranteed that he would come and do all those extra cases to save us those funds. I'm not saying he wouldn't, I'm just saying there's no guarantee. We could still be paying that, correct?
Yes.
That's correct. There's no guarantee, of course. There would be times maybe when Judge Gandolfo is unavailable also.
No, and I understand that. I'm just trying to clarify that we could still have those extra costs. I'm not saying that Judge Roberts would hire somebody else. I'm not saying that he wouldn't do it. I'm just saying we could have those costs on top of that.
This is Spencer Roberts, Argenta Justice Court. So Judge Gandolfo and I have been on the same page this entire time of getting us up to date with the court system so that we could utilize Zoom, so we can utilize, internet, phone, stuff like that. So that in itself has limited the amount of times we've had to even consider getting another judge in, because if we're both at training, we both have take-home computers, we can both still do our jobs while we're at training. He's been a total advocate to bringing us up to the times to not do that. And then he has never once denied me when I went out on surgery or any cases that I've had to recuse myself from. He's always done the job. I know it doesn't guarantee that there may be a use of a senior judge, but the NRS does state that if we are to utilize a senior judge, that they're to be paid at our current wage. So that being said, we can't guarantee it, but we're both here doing the job, and we're doing what we can to make it so we can limit that as much as possible. Thank you.
So, can you hear
I got
me?
one more comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Alicia, and finish.
No,
You
go
were
ahead,
going.
Mike. You're good. Go ahead.
So what have we spent the last 3 years on these senior judges? Do we have the numbers? And is it a budgeted position? That's put in the budget, correct?
I do. I have that number. It's $36,550.
in 3
And
years.
that was
In
that
3 years? 5 years. Sorry, Mike.
That's from 2019 to approximately 2023, and that's only for one senior judge. That was for Judge Bunch. We also utilized Judge Fiesel, Judge Lovelace, and several other senior judges that weren't accounted for in that amount.
That's in 3 years. That's not a 1 year expense. That's 3 to 5 years.
Approximately.
Yeah, okay. All right.
And we've spent 36,000.
In 3 years.
And what's the budgeted number that you asked for that was requested this year for senior judge usage?
I don't have that number for Argenta. I don't have Argenta's budget in front of me, though. I couldn't answer that question.
Wayne can answer that.
She's looking it up.
Thank you. Also, when somebody's speaking, if you guys could have them come up to the microphone, because it's hard for me to hear them, please.
So that money is already put into the budget for that senior judge and gets spent anyway. Okay.
I don't believe it gets spent unless it gets used.
Right, but-
It's budgeted, but if it's not used, it circulates back in. It's not a use it or lose it budget.
Sorry, Denise Fortune for the record. We have a budget that we have coded as training and travel. The training and travel line covers school, which the judges have to go to school by law. And it covers any training and travel for the staff. And it covers for senior judges when you have to bring in other senior judges. So that budget, that line in that budget, Lakin can look it up and tell you what it is. It's in that. How much is it? Well, then did I have another line for pro tem? It's more than 20,000 for training and travel and pro tem. I'm sorry, yes, I don't know what it is because I don't do it anymore, but there is lines for that, yes, and it is budgeted every year by the judge. And I don't know the amounts.
But it's placed as a bulk expense versus a line item to senior judge usage, to travel, to education, to training. They ain't individual line items in the budget.
Yes, Commissioner Chop, that's correct. And the new judge may do something differently, but in the prior years when it was Judge Bunch for 22 years, and then me, there's 1 or 2 lines, and I don't know. I haven't had to do a budget for a minute, and I can't remember how it was broke up, but we did a lot of things under one line because it's kind of training and travel is, I thought we had a pro tem line. I don't know.
There's only one, and it's training and travel, and it's 20,000.
That's it. That's the only one. Service and supply, 10,000, travel and training, 20,000, and dues and subscriptions, 22,500.
So we must have had enough to, and the court administrator might be able to, I think we got pretty close a couple times because things had come up with me, myself personally, that I had to bring in a senior judge who there for a time did court, covered me personally for a month when my husband passed. I didn't do court. I didn't even come in. Well, I came into work on the weekends, but I still did my job, but I didn't come in and do court. Judge Bunch covered. After I'd been in office for 2-3 years, Judge Gandolfo started covering a lot of stuff for me, things I had to travel for, or I had to conflict off. There was a few things I had to conflict off because I've been here for 100 years and I felt personally that I could not be unbiased. And so I would have Judge Gandolfo do those cases for me. So he did save on the senior judge there. And even though there might have been only 20,000, if I truly had to pay a senior judge every time I was unable or out of the country or out of town or at school or at a meeting to do court, it would have cost the county a lot more than what was in there. It would have had to have come out of another line, which again, saying that reminded me, Lakin, the fiscal officer was very good to me when I went through a tragic personal experience and we had to move money around to cover things. So if it's in the budget, they may have to move it around for lines, but the financial officer is very good about doing that, keeping the court in budget. So the money is there. It still comes out of the budget. It's still taxpayer money. It's just how you guys want to look at it.
I'm going to make a statement and might need Schaefer's recommendation, advice on this. I firmly believe that, yes, this Judge Gandolfo has to be, it deserves compensation. Listening at it, I apologize for not attending today in person. I see a senior judge that's half compensated as a brand new elected official judge. My issue is kind of off of what Commissioner Price said, is I question where we justify this to the taxpayer dollars versus just move money to here to cover it. I know Lakin does an excellent job at that. At this time, I struggle to say a yay or nay. That the raise is a big one, yes. Can it be justified? Probably, but I think there needs to be some more work. I would like to see the numbers of what we paid flat out to senior judges. I also question the fact that what guarantees our protection of taxpayer money to not that he didn't do it historically, but going forward, to say, hey, this is where the savings were, this justifies the raise. I ask, I don't know if I can at this time, ask that this be tabled to get some of the financials together. Just to present, to say, hey, this is what it is, and yes, it's a $46,000 raise or whatever it is, and here's the reason, and here's what supports it. Here's what we're going to do, and here's what we're offering the citizens of Lander County that put this bill and put this salary. I think definitely consideration to how long he's been, and also Liz, probably a question for you is, how's this fall under the NRS code that we figured the raise for Judge Roberts? This NRS code that's coming into play on elected officials.
Commissioner Chop, this is Mike McDonald of the District Attorney's Office. You referenced, I think, this part of the discussion from prior meeting where there's a bill that's alive right now with at the Nevada legislature that would affect or increase salaries for other elected officials. And because there hasn't been an increase for elected officials in quite some time. As you recall, in that discussion, the justice of the peace compensation or salaries is not covered by that legislation. The legislation or the law relating to justice of the peace is actually in the chapter NRS 4 for justice courts, and it indicates that the December before an election year on justice of peace, the county commission sets the minimum amount of salary for that next term. And then it indicates that the Board of County Commissioners may increase or change that compensation during the term, but shall not reduce it below that minimum that was established by the board. And so that basically gives the board discretion on how to proceed with determining salary or compensation at or above that minimum that you set previously.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Can I
Any
say
more
something?
comments?
So, yeah, I have one. Mike McDonald. But that does not pertain to judges, correct? That we are at the discretion for the wages of our elected judges, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, the county commission has discretion to compensate the justice of the peace at or above the minimum that was set prior to the beginning or prior to the election of the current term. I believe that the county commission, so it would have been a couple of years back when they set the compensation for the justice of the peace, that the board determined to or caps the Austin salary for justice of the peace, I think, at the rate where it was previously, and it's entirely up to the discretion of the board how it wants to proceed as to an increase at this time.
Anything else, Alicia?
I'm going to agree with Mike. I'd like to see some more of those numbers. And again, Judge Gandolfo did say that the number that we threw out and paid our Jenna Justice judge is, I mean, he sounds like he's willing to negotiate that. Am I correct?
I would leave that up to the board's discretion, right? It's your guys' purview to decide what is right and fair. The reason I used the numbers that I used is because the statements made in the prior meeting was that it was the stated goal of the board to keep elected officials, including the judges, at the same level. I didn't get a big head and come in here and want to raise just because I think I'm awesome. I'm only basing this entire agenda item on the statements of the board. And as far as if you want to do that, if you don't want to do anything, if you want to split the middle, I'm actually not making any suggestions, arguments for any of those things. I came in with the sole explicit purpose of trying to do the same thing that was stated in the previous meeting. And as far as if you guys aren't comfortable with that, that's your guys' purview. Like, it is very clearly stated that while it can't go down, compensation is up to the Board of Commissioners for what is fair and just, right? Like, right and proper. I'm not gonna try and step into your guys' realm on that one. So I will leave that up to you. And like I said, even though I brought that little bona fide sheet to try and sell myself a little bit, it's simply because I realized it's 100%, right? So I wanted to put anyone at ease with any sort of increase, but I didn't come in here looking for a meritorious one. I came in here looking for the decision that was made of trying to keep everyone at the same, because it was explicitly stated. And, if that's not the decision of the board, my only request would be just on the record, any statement or explanation for the differential treatment of whether it's myself or the office in Austin that deserves that. But as far as splitting the baby, I'm not here to negotiate. It's up to you guys.
Okay, Lamont, hold on, Lamont hasn't had a chance to comment.
So the comment I have, and the reason I'm saying this is because, and I asked, if at any point in history has the Argenta and the Austin court ever been comparative in salary?
Never.
And I'm wondering, I hear all the good things, and I've seen good things, Judge Gandolfo, and had a lot of people, no one's questioning the job you do. I'm wondering, why there's always been such a skewed salary between Austin and Argenta. Because you're doing the work. You're picking up other things, you're helping the team, but why up until now has things been so skewed? And if someone could answer that for me, I'd appreciate it, because, has it been a workload issue? Are you stepping up and just taking on more responsibility the last couple of years? Why has it been so skewed throughout history?
Before Judge Fortune or Ms. Fortune speaks to that, I can only speak to myself, right? Like, I came in, I knew what it was when I came in. I'd always just believed that it was the decision of the board that it was that. And it's, as a person, I have a hard time ever trying to argue for more than that. And then just as a lifelong Austin resident, I will tell you there is a little bit of an inferiority complex, right? Where sometimes we have a hard time trying to think that we deserve as much as people do in Battle Mountain. And that's a personal experience on me. I'll fully admit to that. I'll lay that out there to you guys right now. Like, I didn't like the idea of coming in here and having 5 people argue with me about my worth. So that's kind of been the reason that I've always just kind of taken what was offered. And again, I know that's a personality thing, and I can only assume that maybe the previous judges had the same thing, but of the previous judges, none of them are around anymore to really ask. So that would offer up that thought to you.
Anything else, Lamont?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Denise Fortune for the record. Sorry, I keep coming back up here. As our Austin resident, before I was Lander County or Battle Mountain resident, I've been involved with the Austin Justice Court and the Argenta Justice Court for over 40 years. I believe the reason it was so different between the two courts is because when the county seat was moved from Austin to Battle Mountain, because we were bigger, is the reason it came from there to here to begin with, is the judges there prior, and I can't speak for them, half of them are dead. I think maybe most of them are dead. Maybe all of them are dead.
There's one. Oh, there's 2 living. There's 2 living.
Is
Joe
there?
Dory,
But anyway, they didn't have the workload, and it truly was a part-time gig there. Austin was very, very small. And so it was kind of a part-time job at the time. There weren't a lot of people. There wasn't a lot of crime. It was traffic. That's about it. And we had judges that were okay with part-time because they might have went to work, if we were lucky, once a week, maybe twice a month. And that's, I know for a fact that is true for the last 30 years. But then we started getting, I don't want to say smarter, hipper, newer, younger judges, but it's kind of what happened when Judge Gandolfo got in there. Kind of like Judge Roberts is trying to do for the Argenta Justice Court. When you have old dinosaurs in there that don't like tech, these new younger judges come in and bring things up, and they get busier and they're more involved. At least Judge Gandolfo, I can state, he is constantly on the phone. He's researching. He does more work well, maybe not more. He did as much work, if not, well, no, probably more than I did. He should be paid. You guys are all commissioners. I mean, there's 5 of you commissioners. Somebody may put a lot of effort into your job, and some of you may not. They may just show up. I'm not saying that is what happens. Judge Gandolfo is stating, if you're going to make it across the board, make it across the board. I understand that's a big raise. But this commission has never really looked at it since things have progressed in Austin, Nevada, to go, you know what? These guys are working their butts off too. They deserve to be compensated. So even if you don't go that high, if you think that's crazy, I believe it's a proven fact that they deserve to get paid more. Everybody else does. Why doesn't Austin? They work just as hard, or he works just as hard. I can't speak about anybody else, but I know he does.
My comment on this is just continuing is, I've throughout history, I'm like, why haven't we course corrected up until now?
Okay.
But I get that, but I'm for an increase, but what we're asking is almost double. And I think that's kind of where we're kind of just needing a little more information. I'm in a little more time on that. But I mean, I'm in favor of making things fair. I'm in favor of people getting paid what they should be getting. What that is at this time, I'm not sure what that is, what that number is. That's my comment.
Okay, all right, I'm going to comment now.
I have another comment, please, or a question for.
All right,
okay,
fine.
sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Judge Gandolfo, I'm just curious, how many hours do you spend in the office each week? Because I'm not in Austin, so I'm not privy to that, and I apologize for that. I should come visit you. And how many hours a month are you in the courtroom in Austin, not including Battle Mountain when you're helping cover us?
I do not have that in an hour tracker for you. I try and stack my calendar for 2 days a week. I try and hear things on,
Awesome.
well, I try and consider motions on Tuesday and Thursday. I have virtual court on Thursday, so I don't sit in my courtroom the way I did. Everyone's alluded to that. Mostly what I do is traffic, right? So I do Zoom hearings. It's increased access to justice. I see more attorneys now in the last year than I've seen in the previous 5 years, but it's all Zoom hearings. They take 5 or 10 minutes. And then on a personal note, I have not been in as much as I probably could be and should be because my father had a shoulder replacement on April 18th, and shoulder replacement, he can't cut his wood, he can't feed his lambs, he can't do any of these things. And I've been prioritizing that on a personal level lately. And then people have alluded to the fact that I use technology more than I do paper. I keep everything loaded on my phone. I take my computer home. I try and do a work-life balance of trying to take care of things all over that I can. And therefore, as far as sitting in my office, I got nothing for you, but I do receive my probable cause statements. I receive motions. I write orders on my phone and on my computer while I'm out moving around. I do not sit in my office. So I don't have that for you, Commissioner Price.
Okay.
And office, I guess, would include when you're doing virtual. So just to clarify that. So I have one more thing to say. Just to throw this out there to the other commissioners, if we decided to do an increase, just for the record, it was about a 27% increase for Judge Roberts. So there's that little number for y'all. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Okay, I'm going to comment now. We're looking, if we went to the 89,000, that's a 100% raise. fiscally responsibility does not cover 100% raise for anybody, period. And who's to say that next week or a month from now, we don't have Spencer coming back in here, well, you gave Judge Gandolfo 100% raise, now I deserve another raise. I'm just saying. I know, but look what happened already. We gave you a raise, now we're back in here and we have somebody else. Who's to say within a month you're not going to come back and say, I want 100% raise too? Well, and yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, so this becomes an ongoing thing. The fiscal responsibility issue of it just really kills me. That's a lot of money that we're spending that's taxpayers' dollars. And you are only termed part-time. I know that that's the way it is, but, you know, hold on. Okay. And to pay you $89,000 a year as a part-time employee sets a whole nother level for the rest of the county and all of those employees to come in and say, wait a minute, you're paying a part-time elected official $89,000. Why aren't we getting paid that? You know?
You're using the term part-time. You're labeling him as part-time.
Is that not what it is termed in Austin? It's not termed part-time?
Just the piece.
He is on call 7/20.
Okay, because through the years, like when poor Jim Anderson tried to go from what, 12,000 to 14,000?
Before my time.
Yeah, I know. They just beat him up. And what's that? Sure.
So I'd like you to take into consideration what his salary is at right now. He is pretty much mirroring what a secretary sitting at a chair that works 40 hours a week. Judge Gandolfo is on call 7/24. So I think he does need compensation and he does need to increase. What you put that at, that's between the board.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate the very passionate speech of the fiscal responsibility. We're hanging up on the 89. Again, the 89 only comes from statements in the previous commission meeting. I'm not arguing hard and fast on the 89.
Okay.
The 89 is put there only because I'm basing the entire agenda item off of the statements of what happened in the previous commission meeting. Like I said, this isn't lost on me, but when you come in and have this conversation where you'd be like, well, I know that you said everyone else will get 89, but I don't even want to ask for the 89. I'm not, you guys could do the thing. I'm still going to do my job. I'm still going to help Argenta. I still love doing all these things. I actually really appreciate this job. My wife works. We have a rental in Reno. I make ends meet, right? Like you guys aren't going to ruin my life over something like this. But again, I didn't come in here with a big head, but when you hear everyone else gets this except for you, I'm going to come ask, right?
It's worth asking.
And so like I said, I'm not actually pushing that fiscal responsibility. I'm not going to sit there and argue with you, but the number came from a previous commission meeting, not from me pulling that out. And that's why I want to defer to you. And then, yes, as very thankfully Mr. McDonald pointed out, the part-time moniker is more of a disparaging term that was used from Battle Mountain for Austin. That's not an official term.
Okay.
You know, I still get up at 2 a.m. for blood warrants. I still work on the weekends. I still do TPOs on Saturday, just last month. You know, I still have all these responsibilities. And additionally, so even when you don't get those call outs, that means you also can't go without service. You can't, if you're a drinking person, which I am, you can't drink too much because you have to be responsible, right? Like you have to be available all the time. And I'm not going to stop doing that. I'm not going to stop helping Argenta. Like I said, I'm not strong arming. I'm not fighting these numbers, but I heard those statements last month and I'm going to come bring it up and I'll live with the result.
Okay. So if we do the whatever raise we decide to do, then that goes in effect on July 1 and that takes away the 3%, or does that give him the 3% also?
Mike McDonald, Lander County DA's office, you make that determination of what the amount is and when and if any increases come into effect. So those are decisions that the board make. If I may, I heard Commissioner Chop indicate earlier that maybe a need to look at more of the numbers, historical data as it relates to use of senior judges I know the figures that were presented, I think only related to Judge Bunch, but didn't cover some of the other payments that were made to other senior judges from out of county. The other thing that came up was a discussion about maybe the board does not have the ability to require that all conflicts go to Judge Gandolfo when there's a conflict here in Argenta as it relates to Judge Roberts. However, a suggestion that maybe the judges can get together and put together some memorandum of understanding or an agreement between themselves outside of the county commission as it relates to, hey, when there's a conflict, we're going to first reach out to our neighboring justice of peace within our county, and so that they would be living up to that agreement between themselves to use one or the other to fill in for vacancies or temporary conflicts or whatever it might be.
So I'm looking here if, so we gave Judge Roberts approximately 27%, if I'm correct. Going off of your current salary, Judge Gandolfo at $46,154, 60%. A 27% raise comparable to what we gave Judge Roberts would increase your salary up to $58,616.39. So that's a $12,461.75 raise. You know, something like that, you know, sounds fair. But, you know, when we start talking, you know, making it the same money as Judge Roberts, you know, when we're almost doubling your salary, I think that's what we require a little more into that. But, you know, as far as if we gave you the same percentage raise as we gave Judge Roberts in 27%, that's something I would support. I mean, that's still 27%, same amount of percentage as we took Judge Roberts up. But to go almost 100% is something I would require more time. You know, so, you know, I don't know how their other commissioners feel about this, but, you know, if we're going to give 27% to make things fair, that's what I would support.
Spencer Roberts, Argenta Justice Court. So he does the same exact job as I do. It doesn't matter like the population or whatever the case. He does the exact same job. When I did my research for Justice of the Peace pay in Nevada, he was one of, or probably the lowest paid in all of Nevada to do the exact same job as everybody else with the same amount of weight, everything else. That would be like since Dee's from Austin to pay her $10,000 a year and you guys $40,000 a year and call that fair to do the same job. As a elected official or even as a business owner or anything like that, I think your word should be gold. And in the last meeting, when you said that all elected officials needed to be the same, he isn't an elected official. I think he should be the same. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that would mean the commissioner should make the same money too.
Commission, one thing I would like to point out is, you know, we add a number of positions throughout the county, and every time we add one, you know, typically it's well over $100,000 by the time you add the benefit package. I think in the backup further on in this agenda, there's an item with some backup in it, and you know, we have a single bailiff in Lander County that is making more than double of what our current judge in Austin is, and I don't know that that you know, somebody making a decision on somebody's life and is every day they're tasked with that when they get called to the bench. I think that probably should be taken into consideration. Also, it is something for Austin, right? We don't get a lot of interest in Austin at times. I'm not sure if Judge Gandolfo's had anybody run against him, or if there was anybody even running when he did run. So I can't speak to that, but getting quality candidates to put in for these positions and that we'll take it serious. I think that things like this do push them in that direction. So that would be my comment.
Madam Chair, if I may, Mike McDonald, Lander County DA's office. I'd like to comment too from standpoint as prosecutor and my experience in appearing before Judge Gandolfo over the last year and a half. And he conducts a very good court proceeding, and is one of the utmost professional judges I've been before at justice court level. And that is whether he is here in person filling in Argenta Justice Court in Battle Mountain, or in person in Austin at the Austin Justice Court, or at my appearances by Zoom. And he is I think worthy of an increase. I am concerned that with the discussion of just saying, well, we gave one a 27% increase, and so we swallowed that pill. We can do that here. However, the question is are we perpetuating a inequality or a problem by saying he's worth less because he's from Austin by applying the same percentage? And so if you're trying to make things right, then I think that's what you need to focus on. But I can't tell you exactly what that is, but I wanted to at least give you my input. Thank you.
I need to speak when I get a chance.
Go ahead.
By no means, it's almost like we went in reverse. I see a senior, more educated, very professional judge. I've never heard anything different. Don't believe it. The 27% I don't think is an adequate raise. I would like the memorandum of understanding. That would give satisfaction to our constituents that we report to, because you can see there ain't very many people on, but once the word gets out, I mean, we deal with that because we are spending taxpayer dollars. Probably went, like I said, we went in reverse. We compensated the newly elected official to the senior official that is got more trainings and that under his belt due to time, all that. Like I said, I'm strong in my belief of I'd like to see the memorandum of understanding that DA McDonald recommended. I'd like to see the compensation for what we pay the judges. Firmly, I do believe a raise, increase. I believe a substantial increase. Like I said, I'd like to have the numbers behind me so it's justified. That's the stance I have, but I firmly believe these were presented in reverse.
So my comment to that is, when I said these salaries have been skewed for so long, at least the discussion has to start. We have to start somewhere, and that's where I started, was say, okay, we agreed on 27% for Judge Roberts. It didn't really reflect on any inequality of the Austin Justice of the Peace at all. We just have to start that discussion somewhere, because this has been skewed horribly for so long, and it's like we have to start talking about it at some point. A number has to be thrown out there. We have to start somewhere. So I don't want you thinking that I had something against Judge Gandolfo, because I hope that wasn't the way it was taken. But we have to start the discussion, because I am also in favor of a raise, but without comparing it and without having been set up for that, to go to 100% almost raise was, to me, I just needed a little bit more on that comparing, and I just didn't have that. But, going off of what we'd already agreed just to start the conversation, that's where I was at. So, and I hope nobody took that the wrong way.
I did not take that as a disparaging remark from you.
Commission, can I also remind you that the final budget is going to be approved at the next meeting? So I think that if we're going to do a bunch of research, that it's important that maybe we have that on there so we can modify that budget at the same time, because once that's submitted,
we're out of luck, right?
Well, it makes it a lot more difficult for us.
Right. Okay, so do you guys want to table this and get more information and then carry on at the next meeting, or do we want to make a vote?
Lakin, can we have can we have it and put it on an earlier agenda item on the next meeting prior to the budget authorization to have that adjustment ready to present?
Yeah, we would just have to approve it before we approve the final. And
Right.
Have to make the change.
I can hear.
You bet. There will be a few other items on that agenda that could potentially change that budget as well. So it will just, the approval of the final budget will just have to be after them approvals.
Right. Okay, any other comments?
No?
Okay, so is that how everybody feels, that we're gonna table it until we get more numbers and?
I'd support that.
Yes, I'm good with that. And I
I
got
as
one
well.
question.
Okay,
Judge Gandolfo, will you be in the office on Monday?
Yes, I have let's see, I have hearings on Monday. I have a arraignment and something else on Monday, so I would be in there. What time would you like to show up, and I'll make sure that we're available.
It'll probably be afternoon. I'll be traveling back, so I'd love to stop in and visit with you.
Yeah, I've got court in Austin Monday and Tuesday. I've got court in Battle Mountain Wednesday, and I have court Austin again on Thursday next week.
Awesome.
So any of those days would work, or you can come see me work here on Wednesday if you don't want to drive.
I'm coming through there. It's good for me to stop and see things. Thank you.
Okay, and then just for my own, so we're working on this checklist because we spoke numbers in general terms. You guys want to know the senior judge numbers, and you want to see an MOU between myself and Judge Roberts, basically guaranteeing that I'm going to do what I already do by covering him, correct?
Right.
And then just to put you guys all at ease, I don't know if you all read my little bona fide there, but I've sat for 7 different courts in 6 different counties. I love being a judge so much that, like I said, I'm doing this regardless of what you guys decide to do. I'm in a competition with Judge Bishop over in White Pine to see who can get to the most counties, and he's currently winning, but he's got a 12-year head start on me. So I intend to catch him before this term's over.
cool. One more that I have to say, and then we'll move on. Actually, we're gonna take a break. But I'm not opposed to giving you a raise. I just am opposed to 100%.
Yeah, and I want to be completely clear. I
know.
understand everyone's trepidation.
You know, that's huge. That
Again,
is huge.
I
And-
came in here understanding that. And then just something else to consider is the fact, yeah, it's 100% in 1 year, but as to what Commissioner Edgar has been mentioning, the disparity has existed for so long. Weigh out the cost savings on 40 years of.
And I think that's something we should approach slowly over a longer period of time than just going 100%, because I
Yeah.
don't feel that it's fair to the other elected officials or the other employees to make that kind of a decision. So, but like I said, I'm not opposed to it. I'm just not.
I understand that.
Okay.
Commissioner Helmy. I really do. Like I said, I'm not trying to step on that. Budget is your guys' purview, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm only coming because I sat there and I listened to that last one, and you got to start somewhere. So I'm just going to come and ask. This is not going to hurt my feelings regardless of the outcome. It's not going to change the way I approach my job, regardless of the
Perfect,
outcome.
because I'm all about anything for Austin.
Yeah, and I know that about you, and I appreciate that about you and your
So,
position.
all right, we're going to take a 10-minute break because I really need one. So we'll be back at 11:12.
One real quick thing before you take your 10-minute break. 116 is the personnel sheets, which because I'm still tabled, that's still out there. Never mind. I was going to ask if we could make sure and approve the clerk's personnel sheet since we did approve her pay scale, but since I'm still not finished, that has to be tabled as well, I assume.
Okay.
Was
I really need a break.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, moving on to 1.16, discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the personnel budget for the Austin Justice Court for the fiscal year of 2025-2026 tentative budget.
Okay, Lakin Sullivan for the record. These are the payroll sheets that we tabled at the budget workshop. But you guys did already approve the Justice of the Peace salary at the budget workshop. So I'm just asking that we approve the personnel sheets as a whole to have something to put in the final budget, and then we can still bring his salary back
Okay.
at the next meeting.
Any comment? Are you guys back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Mike, are you there?
Yep, I'm on.
Okay. All right, do you guys have any comments on 1.16?
Nope.
Nope. Lamont, do you have any comments?
No comment.
Okay, public comment? None? Okay, well, I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve 1.16 personal sheet as a whole. The personal budget for the Austin Justice Court for the fiscal year 2025, 2026 tentative budget.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, any opposed? All right. Moving on to 1.17, discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the pay scale for the Argenta Justice Court as presented, or with modifications, and to approve, disapprove a memorandum of understanding between Lander County and the Argenta Justice Court of Justice of the Peace. Go ahead.
Do you guys have any questions about our pay scale? It's the same, it mirrors the counties. I did work with Ms. McDonald prior to me being out. I was gone for the budget workshop, and I apologize for that. I had a death in the family. Judge Roberts has made several changes since then, and so if you guys have any questions about that, we can answer those. I would like to note, I know it's not open, but there is a memo from finance later on in the agenda that is incorrect and needs to be corrected.
Yeah, I would ask that you open up 1.8 at the same time.
Okay, 1.18?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay, we're also going to open up 1.18, discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the personnel budget for the Argenta Justice Court for the fiscal year 2025-2026 tentative budget.
So the correction to the memo from Ms. Sullivan under the bailiff line, I had presented a memo regarding where Judge Roberts would like the levels. The new pay scale is adopted for the employees, and then Ms. Sullivan submitted this memo, and under the bailiff, it has two levels. It lists a salary, and that actually is not the level that Judge Roberts is requesting for his bailiff. It is less than that.
It's less than what Judge Roberts is requesting.
Ms. Sullivan has it listed more, the 4281. Judge Roberts is requesting less than that.
Oh, okay.
What level is he requesting? He is requesting a level 6.
Bailiff 36.
Is this the old pay scale?
Okay, so you're wanting us to increase one level or two levels?
I believe it lands at one level above what they would normally fall into as it stands today. That would put our new person at the level 1, which is consistent with her experience. The other court clerk that I have has 3 years of experience, and I would like her at a level 3 to be in conjunction with her experience. And the bailiff, I wanted her to go up one more level than what was suggested due to the fact that she would be getting like a 2 or 3% increase instead of a normal 5 or 6%. So I'm just trying to make it fair across the board for all my employees and get them on the new pay scale that benefits the county as well.
Okay. Why does the bailiff get a 5% increase when everybody else gets a 3?
So that is based off a scale that was previously approved by the previous Justice of the Peace and the board. That is what was presented by the Justice of the Peace, and that is how she put it to the board, and that's how they approved it. I would like to respond as to what has been presented. When we did the new county pay scale for all the counties, all throughout the county, we only moved every employee one level, not 2.
Okay.
There's not one employee that went to 2 levels.
It wasn't based off of years of
It was not.
experience. It was just based off the old scale with the new scale with the cost of living and the merit combined, and then we moved everyone up a level. So the level 1, 2, 3, that's not based off of years of experience.
And when I worked with Ms. McDonald on this pay scale prior to being out of the office, that was explained to myself. And then, as I stated, Judge Roberts reviewed it and he made decisions for his employees.
So as I asked you to open up 1.18, I would ask you to look at the numbers that are in that personnel sheet, and that would be where my suggestion would be to be moving the staff.
The memo from finance one, or?
The one level memo from finance, but if you look at the personnel sheet, we have the numbers in
Did she say personnel sheets?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, okay. And that's not right. You don't have those correct.
Who doesn't?
The bailiff, you're going to the 38. You have 42.
No, but you're looking at version 2.
Oh, how many versions you got?
I had to provide 2. So this was based off of his.
Okay, where's my
Which,
picture doing?
that one wouldn't be right if he's only.
Oh.
Oh, because. Yeah, but this was the.
Yes. So that one is correct.
One.
Current rate for the
And that's
bailiff.
off of sheet 2, real quick, sorry.
This was the.
That's okay.
Go ahead, Mike.
And that's looking at the sheet 2,
Which one is that? Is
off
that
the operating budget personnel, local 3 bargaining unit sheet 2.
which version is that?
Yes, so on sheet 2 is where the hourly employees are listed.
And that's on the exempt, okay. No, that's exempt.
And I provided 2, one based off of what we would normally move them to, and then one based off of what the judge was asking.
Well, I feel that, what do you think?
So the 4281 for the bailiff, are we talking going to 3810? Is that what I'm hearing?
What Judge Roberts is actually asking for is the 4039. If you look at the actual pay scale document, I believe Ms. Sullivan the boxes are a little skewed on the bottom part of the bailiff, so it didn't line up correctly. I think she accidentally skipped one.
It's 2.
42.
So that would, so at that number 4039 would be moving her 2 levels instead of 1.
But the rest of the county all moved 1 level.
Correct.
And I did provide you with what they're currently making.
Right.
And what one level would be. And we
Right.
made sure it was in line with at least $1 more an hour. Like we did for all the other hourly employees.
Okay, and if we give them this, we make it contingent July 1, and then there's no cost of living that year.
It's incorporated in this.
Yeah,
It's incorporated in that, okay. All right, what do you think?
I'm still processing here because there's a lot of information, a lot of stuff that's not right here. So
Okay, Alicia, Mike, you guys have comments?
Well,
I
have a question. Why are we moving them up 2 levels instead of 1 like the other employees in the county? Why are you requesting that?
I'm requesting this because they are court employees, not county employees. It is supposed to be the discretion of the judge. I'm basing it off of years of experience and the fact that these girls had to step up and not only train a new judge, but to train a new employee. They've stepped up in the year or whatever it was before to make up for the other employee being gone. I feel that they absolutely deserve to be in a place where it matches their experience level. And I would like to remind the commission that there is a huge ethical dilemma to allow the DA office manager to dictate where the judge's staff is put on the pay scale. So I would ask that you just look at the numbers. It's not that much more, but it's fair across the board.
Well, and I just want to put on the record that I provided this memo. I typed this memo myself. This had nothing to do with it. I wanted to inform the commission. We made these pay scales to make them in line with all other county employees. And so if we're going to do that, I feel like the raises should be in line with all other county employees as well.
And Madam Chair, Mike McDonald, Lander County District Attorney's Office, strongly object to the judge's comments about an ethical issue relating to the District Attorney's Office being involved with this. So he is incorrect.
The office manager just spoke, so.
And just for the record, she is also our HR. So she's speaking from HR, and that's, we need to make sure that we clarify these roles.
Well, that's good to know too, because I didn't know you could be 2. So.
Are we here to split hairs, or are we here
So
to?
let's get back on track here.
Yes.
So we're talking 1.17 and 1.18, or Are we
Right.
trying to tackle both at the same time here?
Well, they kind of tie in together.
I do believe both are open because there was in that memo from Ms. Sullivan, there was an error.
Right. So, Alicia, do you have anything?
Well, I want to be in line with every other county employee.
Mike?
I support what Alicia just said.
Okay, Lamont?
I support that.
Okay, so I'll make the motion that we go ahead and raise them one level and put them in line with the rest of the county employees. On,
I'll second it.
what's that?
On 1.18.
Yeah, on 1.18.
I'll second it.
Okay.
So I think you may need to adopt the pay
They,
scale
you need to go
first.
back.
Oh, we need to go back and adopt the pay scale first, okay? All right, so,
I motion we adopt the pay scale as presented.
okay,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 1.18. I motion that we move them up one level so that they're equal with the rest of the Lander County employees.
I seconded it. I
With
second.
the- Okay, with the bailiff at $40.39 an hour. Or no, wait, that's two levels, isn't it?
That's 2 levels.
Okay, so the bailiff also with the one level, so. Sure.
I have a question, how you decided the level at the level that it's at, because I currently make more than the level that you guys put me down to determine the level that I go up. That's my question. If you can clarify that for me, I would better understand.
That was based on the previous pay scale, from the previous JOP where the levels were only 5% on there and now they're 6. So you're not gonna fall in line. It didn't have it.
That's what I'm saying, but you guys just accepted this pay scale.
Yeah, so that's how we did it when we made a check.
Yeah.
Alicia, you need to mute. Oh, it's not Alicia?
We muted him.
It's not me.
Oh,
The
okay.
level, it was
I'm in a
completely-
room by myself.
So then we had to take their current rate and move them up to the next level with everyone getting at least $1 more.
Okay.
So that's.
But that's what I'm saying, that wouldn't be correct since you guys just approved this pay scale. So if you're looking at those levels, mine would be different than what she's presenting.
No, you currently make 3601.
07.
So
Yeah.
you would move to the 38.
But that's what I'm saying, but you're number 4. I make more than that. You're saying that would be my current one to move me to level 5. I'm not in level 4 at that pay rate.
We're not looking at the levels, we're looking at what, to go to a new pay scale. This is a completely different pay scale than what they presented
But that's what I'm
before.
saying, you basically made me go back to bump up.
No, it's because we added levels, so technically this is what the higher would have been because you guys didn't have 10 levels, so we had to do an entry level and then went up from there. So we went off of what the entry level should be for a bailiff, which was more than what the previous entry level was.
It's by like about 10 cents more is what I'd get if I would have stayed at 5%.
Which is actually beneficial because then there's more steps.
Well, I'm not gonna be around to finish all those.
The sheriff's office filters.
Okay, we had a motion and a second. Any other public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay.
Yeah, I think on the previous item though, there was an MOU. also.
Okay, so then we got to cover the MOU. Why are we doing these MOUs all of a sudden?
I'm not sure. That's this commission bringing it to me.
Well, not the commission, so it has to, why are we doing the
Somebody.
MOUs?
I'm pretty sure our judge is well aware of why we got into these MOUs. We actually had a meeting with the courts, and part of this is the separations of power, and and trying to collaborate with the judges, and that's why these MOUs are in front of you. And I can let Liz take it, kind of further explain that.
And these are not our MOUs or mine. I didn't have anything to do with this backup. This was presented from the court.
Okay, and this ties in like when we were talking about the drug testing and we were informed that the justice court could be exempt from that, even though the rest of the county has to follow that policy. This MOU would allow us to,
No, this MOU is specifically for their pay.
Just for their pay?
Yeah, but that's where the MOUs are coming from, is that's kind of where the whole MOU and the separations of power started, was with the drug policy that was passed by the commission.
Right.
And then it's led to further MOUs.
And I believe Austin Justice Court also presented an
And
MOU where they did.
Correct me if I'm,
Go ahead.
sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, but when we had that meeting, there was a misunderstanding of that until we did have a meeting with the courts on where they stood with that, correct?
I don't know that we've ever actually finished whether the courts are going to follow our drug policies or not. But we're off, I'm sorry, we're off topic, excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
So
We're all
who
off
wrote
on-
this MOU that I'm looking at right now, the one we're talking about? Who wrote that?
We
The courts.
mirrored-
Like, who's the person that wrote it?
We mirrored Judge Gandolfo's MOU.
And where did you get yours from?
This one was approved by the AOC.
I created and wrote my own MOU. It was, like I said, it was just saying that I wanted to adopt the county pay scale. This all did stem from discussions I actually started 1.5 years ago, and they progressed. We don't have to go do all those
No.
things. If the county does not want to do the MOUs, I am fine with not doing them. I was doing it because I thought that was what they wanted to be a little bit more kind of above board and write out everyone's roles in these things. So I actually created that MOU, and it was just stating, I find that to be beneficial to the court, beneficial to the county, just kind of spell out for sure the roles that each of us would have in that sort of thing. It was specifically in response to a lot of the discussions that happened over 1.5 years. So I created that to try and
Smooth things out.
yes, that's where
okay.
that all came from. There's not a legal requirement to all that. I thought I was meeting kind of the needs or demands of what the county was expecting at that point, but I'm not married to them if you want to continue without them. That's where I came
Because this was, I don't know about you, Lamont, but this was the first time I'd heard anything about the MOUs, and that's why I was wondering, where did this come from all of a sudden? Why?
So I can give some background on that, and they're not on the agenda, so we can't talk too much about it, but in the previous commission meeting, they were on the agenda. That was actually something that was requested by one of the board members, and it kind of it set the tone, I'm going to say.
Okay.
And I think that's where a lot of these are coming from, and why I included mine, and I assume that's why Argenta included theirs, is that there was a version floated around that came from the county side towards us, and we were just kind of working with that premise.
Okay, that makes sense.
And we would like to thank Judge Gandolfo for his willingness
Yeah,
to work with us.
I think it's a great idea. We were like, wait a minute, where'd this come from all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was just trying to work within trying to make everyone happy on those deals that would kind of just address the court's concerns, address the county's concerns. I can always do that way. Cooperation is a lot better than any sort of
Right, exactly.
conflict type of thing. Is why I did all those. But again, I'm not married to him. If you guys don't want to do the MOUs, it's fine. I was just trying to make it easier.
The only difference with our MOU is the wording is slightly different because Miss McDonald and I worked together on a pay scale. And then it was presented to Austin Justice Court. So it was presented to them. We worked on it, if that makes sense. So wording's a little different.
I looked at it this morning, but I was just reviewing it again really quick.
I don't know if it was replaced, but there was one spelling error in Commissioner Sparks' name that was fixed.
I fixed that in my backup as well.
Yeah. So, okay, well, I don't, how do you guys feel about the MOU? Comments?
I'm still reading it, sorry.
Okay, I looked at it this morning, so I just scanned it again.
Yeah, I looked at it earlier too. I'm just refreshing it here.
Mhm.
I personally like the MOU, but
Mike?
I mean, it sums up what we're saying, is it brings it within, it says right there, the memorandum of understanding establishes the agreement between Argenta Court, Lander County. But I like it.
Okay, Lamont?
I'm not opposed to it. I kind of neutral in this, but how does the court feel about this MOU? This is exactly what we want.
I think that the MOU lays out clearly where the court stands and where the county stands and how we work together on the pay scale.
This one was approved by the AOC.
We have a lot of corrections that aren't going to happen immediately overnight, but like I was talking earlier with the pay differentials. I mean, we got some rights, but wrongs we have to right. So
if I could speak with the MOU, it pretty much outlines what we already do.
Right.
It just puts it in stone, dealing with judicial in the county.
Okay.
And the MOUs they have a function in there where if anything changes, if edits need to be made, I mean, you can do that. These are not 10-year contracts. This is like, we can come together, either party can step away from it, either party can present alterations with signed agreement. It's just a Word document. It's pretty easy to change if things do change.
Yeah, maybe reviewed and
No, I
amended.
support it. I'll support it.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion on the MOU.
Make a
Or
motion.
Argenta, because we had to finish Billy's first.
So which one we want to do on 1.7, right?
Yeah,
On the
1.7.
Argenta MOU. So we want to, should we do this whole approval for the whole 1.17? Because we've already approved the.
Do we want to redo it, or do we just want to go ahead and do it separately on the MOU?
I think they'd probably be better separate.
Okay.
So right now, motion would just be for the MOU?
Mhm.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion for 1.17's approval of the Argenta MOU as stated and as discussed.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 I'd like to thank Judge Gandolfo for putting that together for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you,
Willing to
Billy.
Work with us.
While we're talking about me and MOUs, I don't know where we left off with mine earlier.
I thought we tabled all of it for right now.
The
and
MOU
then-
was for the
or for
pay
the
scale.
other?
It was
Oh,
not
okay.
for my item. They were two separate items.
Yeah. Oh, on 114, we
No,
went ahead and approved all of 1.14.
So it was completely different.
Yeah, it was-
Did you guys want my signature before I leave? You want to wait till Brian's around? Do you want me to alter it if there's going to be someone else other than Brian signing it?
Well, I would sign it today, right?
She can do it.
Yeah, even with Brian's name on there? Yeah. So you don't need to alter it.
Okay. I'll hang around and I'll sign that in a little bit.
Awesome.
Awesome.
While I'm up here, I have a packet that was done by the United States Marshal Service. I put in a agenda request to discuss this stuff for this meeting, but it didn't make it onto the agenda. So I'd like to take this opportunity to give each of you a packet because a lot of this stuff is safety related and can't be discussed, for everybody to see what's going on with it. So if you could give me time, I'd like to pass these out to you guys, and hopefully the other three will get
You're
their
welcome to
packet.
pass them out, but anything else you say has to be under public comment.
Okay. Whatever we need
This
to
is
do.
not agendized.
Okay. I'll give one to the county manager so you can go over it. Just so you guys can be well prepared for the next meeting.
Okay.
Do I just give you guys the other ones?
Give them to Bert, and he can give them out. Don't forget, guys, to stop by and pick up your packets from Bert.
Okay.
Okay,
I just asked that they be put into envelopes and not everybody. You guys.
But, so on this, we could talk about it during public comment, but we can't take any actions or anything.
no, we can't even talk
We
about
can't-
it. They can
I
just,
mean, he can bring something up
Right.
in public comment, but we can't.
Mike McDonald here for the record. I'm concerned if the judge is providing information to the clerk and to the commissioners and the county manager, it has to be public if it's something that the commission is going to be reviewing or considering as part of any action, unless it specifically falls under an exception in the Nevada revised statutes. So the mere fact that this is being disseminated to the commission makes it public at this time.
so you want them back?
If you want, I could take them back and we can deal with it another time. I just wanted to give you guys ample time to read through it and, be aware of what could happen, I guess.
My
It's a safety
understanding-
issue. I don't know if that's a deal we want to deal with or.
So I just want to, I need clarification, I guess, because, or is this a future agenda item? Is that what you said?
So I submitted
Because that
it
would
to
be
be
public as
today,
well.
but I was told you weren't gonna be here or legal. And I don't know if you're legal or if you're talking about Schaefer.
Yeah, that, you,
Okay, wait, hold it.
So
This is not on the agenda.
No, but the question is this going to be an agenda item?
I don't know if it's gonna be approved or why I submitted it. I don't know if you're.
Yeah, so you're putting it in for a future agenda item, so it will
I did
become
put it
public
in.
anyway.
Okay.
Is there any way to make this not public because it is a safety related thing? Is that part of the exceptions?
I'm, off the top of my head, I'm not aware of an exception. The county commission, the county deals with safety issues. I don't know what this material is. You're the one that's presenting it. By you presenting it to the commission, you're making it public. So I have no idea what you're presenting to.
As it will be if it's an agenda item as well.
Okay, so is there a better way to go about it?
I cannot answer that because I don't know what you're doing. I don't know
And
what
we're
the
off topic
material
here.
is.
We're still in a meeting.
Judge Roberts, why don't we just take the information back? Let's get it on the agendas, and so we're all
Yeah.
getting the information at the same time. I have no problem reviewing it.
Okay, if you have any other comments, you're welcome to comment during public comment. 1.19, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the appointment of one individual to serve on the Lander County Planning Commission, which currently has one opening. New terms are from July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2029. Is anybody here? Okay, so we have Tara
Cruz.
Cruz. Oh, that'll be the first time in a long time we've had that board totally full, huh? Okay, so do we have a motion to approve, Tara?
I'll make a motion that we approve 1.19, the appointment of one individual to serve on the Lander County Planning Commission, which currently has one opening. New terms are from July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2029, and Tara Cruz for approval.
Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor? Oh, wait, public comment. Public comment?
Sorry.
Okay, now, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay. All right, item 1.21, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the interlocal contract between the Secretary of State and Lander County Clerk for services related to a voter registration database, election management system, and associated equipment from Knowink for the yearly maintenance fee in the amount not to exceed $4,363.90.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. All this is interlocal contract between the Secretary of the State and us for the maintenance of our voter registration system and our poll pads for our elections. And it's already in our budget because we already have to pay it anyways.
Okay, is this a new group you're working with, or have we been working with them?
It's the one that we had in our last, it's from the top line system, so it's the one we've been working with.
And been working well? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
No question. Nope.
Any questions from the public? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to pass 1.21 as read and presented.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alicia?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
1.22, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove, or amend and approve the Lander County Livestock Event Center informational package, including license registration, waiver form, licensee agreement, terms, conditions, rules, and regulations for the use of the event center, facility rental handbook, cleaning checklist, and inspection report. This was modified and approved at the April 3rd, 2025 Lander County Livestock Event Center Advisory Board meeting. Okay, anybody have any questions or there's nobody here. You got tired of waiting? Anybody have any comments?
This is something they've needed for a while, I can tell you that, because they haven't had anything where anybody signs anything when they go in there to do concessions so this is a good thing, so.
Okay, so if there's any public comment? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve 1.22 to approve the Lander County Livestock Event Center informational package, including licensee registration and waiver form, licensee agreement, terms, conditions, rules, and regulations for use of the event center, facility rental handbook, cleaning checklist, and inspection report.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Okay, any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Okay, 1.23, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the agreement to purchase 160 acres of land located approximately 21 miles northeast of Battle Mountain in the Sheep Creek Mountain Range from the Nevada Chucker Foundation in the amount not to exceed $52,000 and to authorize the chair or vice chair to sign.
So the purpose for bringing this before you guys today is this land here would be a crucial piece of land if we ever did move forward with the Rock Creek Dam. If that project was to ever get wind under its wings again, we would need this. And the Chucker Foundation is looking to offload that. So we thought this would be a good opportunity to bring it for you guys for your consideration.
This is like the property we bought from the Silver Creek. Basically, it's a conservation type area.
Yes, it's similar to it.
Okay. You guys have any questions?
And also, by approving this, Bert, this would also allow us access to the roads, right? So we're not into that property, right? If somebody else was to buy this property, would we lose out on any right-of-ways, any?
Correct. So there is a road that goes through there to access the Battle Mountain Rim. And if somebody else were to purchase it, they could close that off.
Okay.
Yeah, so this keeps it open for hunters and, sportsmen to get out and still access that rim.
Sure.
Mike, do you have any questions?
Nope. Lamont
Nope.
asked what I've got.
Okay, public have any questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
A motion to approve agenda item 1.23 for the agreement to purchase 160 acres of land located approximately 21 miles northeast of Battle Mountain in the Sheep Creek Mountain Range from the Nevada Chucker Foundation in the amount not to exceed $52,000 and authorize the chair or vice chair to sign.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, any opposed? Nope, okay. All right, finance, 2.1, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove resolution 2025-06 establishing a special revenue fund known as the Compensated Absence Fund.
Blake and Sullivan, for the record, this was one of the funds we talked about creating for the extra SCCRT revenue we're going to be receiving. And it will just make sure that our compensated absent liability is fully funded every year.
This is from where we went from guaranteed county to actually in the extra revenue. Okay.
Yes.
Any questions?
Nope.
Lamont?
No questions.
Any public comment or questions? Nope. Okay, then I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve 2.1, Resolution 2025-06, establishing a special revenue fund known as Compensated Absence Fund.
Go ahead.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right. 2.2, discussion and possible action regarding building and equipment fixed asset fund 029 for the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget amendment to increase the budgeted amount to authorize the purchase through state purchasing of a 2025 Caterpillar 836 landfiller compactor in the amount of 1.3 million.
So what we had happen here is we mixed up some paperwork in our budget request to the commission, and we had a loader instead of a compactor. The difference, I believe you guys approved 700,000 or 750,000. So it's 750,000 that was approved for it, and we're asking for the additional funding so we can buy the actual compactor instead of the loader.
Okay, so that loader that was presented, we're not getting that.
No, the funds would be used for this. So it was a mix up in paperwork during budget.
I wondered why we were putting a loader out there.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. All right, you guys have any questions? Any questions or comments from the public? Okay, I will entertain a motion. Should we state it as the amount difference or just for the full amount?
We will not be purchasing the other loader that was previously approved. This will be replacing it.
Okay, all right. Want to make a
Yep.
motion?
Make a motion to approve 2.2 regarding buildings and equipment fixed assets Fund 029 for the fiscal year 2025-2026. Budget amendment to increase the budgeted amount and to authorize the purchase through state purchasing of the 2025 Caterpillar 836 landfill compactor in the amount of $1,300,000. Understanding we will not be purchasing the previous agreed upon loader.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? All right. Moving on to 3.1, correspondence reports, future agenda items.
I would
We
like
have to put on Judge Godolpho's raise, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and what were you going to say, Bert?
I would like to remind the commission that we do have a litigation meeting today at 2:00. We did send out a meeting invite, so for anybody who can't make it in person can jump on there and we'll have that.
I'll stay here. So, okay, anything else?
Nope.
No? Nobody has anything else? No questions, no anything?
So this next agenda item we just talked about for Judge Gandolfo's pay increase, that would be for the next commissioner meeting.
Right.
Okay,
When we have more information for backup.
sure.
Okay, well, if any public comment for non-agendized items? Any public comment? No? Okay. All right, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, we're done.